But first, before we get started, we're going to listen to the rabbits drink water. No, I'm just kidding. They're still chewing on the water bottle dispenser. It's okay, rabbits, we got all day. I can do this all day. I love burning my retinas all day. Hello and welcome back to my channel. It is me, Dana G, and tonight I'm going to be telling you how I benefit now from the outlining process and how not everyone starts off using an outline, and that is perfectly fine, but at some point in time you're going to want to do like the bare bones minimum of an outline. Trust me, I'm not an expert, but I have expertly mastered this from not using an outline. And I'll explain. Earlier today, I hopped on to Tegan Greenfield's live stream. She was doing some writing sprints, and I was in the middle of eating my lunch and doing dishes and putting this together. Yes, believe it or not, it takes some time to look this crazy. However, we didn't do any writing sprints at that time. We started having a back and forth conversation. I was asking her about her work in progress, and she was explaining that it's from 2 points of view, but I felt like she might be struggling on how to move the story forward. And so we started talking about the outlining process. And she, like me, in the beginning did not use an outline. Instead, she, like me, had stumbled upon during Preptober the plot embryo designed by Rachel Stevenson. Oh, I had told her that even though I had watched the videos, I hadn't quite mastered the plot embryo. I love the idea, and when I have some more time, I plan on sitting down and using the plot embryo and really trying to incorporate it into my madness. But at this point in time, it's not something that I use religiously. I also stumbled upon Natalia Lee's Preptober workbook that she had put together called Planning and Plotting a Novel. Also at this point in time, I'd like to say that everyone that I have mentioned thus far in my video will be linked at the end of this video or in the description below. As we were discussing plotting and outlining between Tegan and myself, I started to think about when I started writing. So, as most of you know, there's my book, The Awakening, Love Eternal. It is my book baby. When I first started writing this novel, it was based on a dream that I had. It was a helter-skelter mess. And like I told Tegan, it wasn't until I got with my editor, Anna, that she said, you need to get an outline. Even if it's just a bare bones start, middle, finish, and these are the things that are going to happen. And I was like, oh God, I hate outlines. I have always hated outlines. My brain does not fit into the little box that the public school system feels that you need to have mastered in order to be a good writer. Instead, it's like little spurts of creativity that just kind of hit me and land on the page. And then somehow, by way of Anna, the editor, it actually came out to be something really awesome. A year ago, I took the ramblings of a mad woman and I started making an outline. I also, at the same time that I hastily started making this outline, realized that there are some great authors out there, like Stephen King. He does an outline, and somehow he magically takes his helter-skelter mess and he cranks out an incredibly amazing work of art. Yeah, I'm not Stephen King. So here I am today, ready to share with you my ramblings of how I went from being a complete pantser. A pantser is somebody who writes by the seat of their pants. And even though that's not entirely what I am, I could be a plotzer, even though when I first started this, it was no plotting whatsoever. I would wake up in the middle of the night after having some type of a dream, and I would run out to my laptop and start typing it down. Which isn't entirely sure, because when I first started writing this book, I had a notebook. For the purpose of this video, I have decided to use my current work in progress, titled Deception of My Mind, to show examples of how I do my outline. Now this process may or may not work for everybody. So for step 1, what I did was I labeled each chapter number, and as part of the skeleton outline, I simply said what my purpose was, what the intention of chapter 1 is, and it's to introduce the main characters. So then for step 2, as you can see, there's a lot more color and there's a lot more detail. I chose to use multiple colors because in my mind, each multiple color draws attention to itself and therefore means that it has some type of importance. So, step 2, add details to your skeleton. You can see here how I have chapter 1. 1A would be the detail. Who are the main characters? And here I've added their names, Jax and Scarlet Winters. This is a lighthearted project. Anyway, chapter 2, main characters meet with clients at a party. So chapter 2, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, you can see here that I said the new clients need a name. After returning home, the new clients agree to join the club. A new character is introduced, and I've highlighted her name. Her name is Lexi. And here we have a mental note. And next to it, you see the hot pink. It says, explain how the 3 characters know each other. Have a time lapse. In chapter 4, you can see where I have a huge oops. So chapter 4 says the main characters interview new clients, organize another party. But we've already interviewed the new clients and organized another party. So, in step 1, chapter 5 was main characters go to client party. Party lasts 3 days. So here what we've done is we've simply made a note that chapter 5 will now become chapter 4. And then I had another oops when I said I just realized that chapter 3 needs to be rearranged due to timeline issues. So step 3, change any mistakes. So as you can see, I'm still using multiple colors and I'm still adding mental notes. Find a name for Jackson Scarlett's company, which I am still trying to think of a name for an adult party planning company. And if you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Of chapter 4, here you have a mental brain fart. At this point, I decided to rearrange my timeline a little. So the new character is going to be introduced in chapter 4 instead of chapter 3. And here we are on step 4. And I wrote this down as step 4 in my final step. So here we have introduce the main characters. Everything is pretty much the same, except I've left room for where I want to describe Scarlet. And these are going to be very detailed, so I've left some blank lines. And I'm going to describe Scarlet, and I'm going to describe Jax in chapter 1. Next, I have chapter 2, Scarlet and Jax meet with the new client, which I have decided to name Mr. Matt McClure and Valentina McClure. I've already started my list of the rules. I've also added another character at this time, which is the receptionist, and that is her name. I really liked it when the app, the name dice generator, came up with it, but I'm having a hard time figuring out how I want it pronounced. And when I struggle with names, I typically get rid of them. Anyway, I've gone into a lot more detail as to what will be happening in chapter 2. And as you can see, now each chapter gets its own page. And this way, when I put it into my 3-ring binder, if I need to add anything to it, I'll have my main page, and anything that needs to go behind for chapter 2 will go behind for chapter 2. So it is as simple as that as far as outlining, and you can make it as simple or complex as you want to. Really, what I think an outline should be is a roadmap. It should be a roadmap that describes where your journey begins, the middle, and the end. And if you choose to go ahead and fill in all the little places you're going to stop and the journeys you're going to have along the way till you reach the middle and decide how your story is going to finish, that is all an outline has to be. And that's why, as a writer, I believe that you as an individual needs to be comfortable with whatever method you are using. That's a lot. Until next time, bye.